Hey, what's up? How's everybody doing today? I'm back. Boom! Fighting back with the champ. So, it's been a while. Um, and I just wanted to kind of give everybody an update. Anybody who cares, is interested in hearing me speak, other than me. Um, some people like my opinions, some people don't. I don't really care. I prefer that you like my opinions, but it doesn't make a difference in my life. So today, I want to refocus on what my original intent was, which is to educate and teach and inform and help people, people that are struggling. And so it became a passion of mine to start coaching when I started working with Hammond Junior High to help a guy that I played college football with. He begged me to help, and I ended up having to coach that team on my own by myself. First year coaching football, and we went undefeated parish, which is like a county. We were parish champions in a very powerful county. We were undefeated parish champions, and we were probably the best. I would say we were the best team in the state. We played John Curtis to one touchdown, to 1 minute of the end of the game, and I actually did not get to coach in that game, but I set the game up because I played football in college with Preston Curtis, who was a walk-on at Tulane, and had I been there, we'd have blew him out. But the guy didn't know anything about football. Run the same play 26 times in a row. So basically, I coached, and these kids, they couldn't catch the football. First week I was out there, and after about 10 days of working with them, 14 days working with them, they were like a college passing spread team. It was insane. They were so athletic. I mean, it was a pleasure to work with these kids. But, they lacked a lot of fundamentals, and I just, man, it was so easy. I just, they're athletes, And so I think we had maybe 100, 150 yards total offense against us the whole year. And our offense was better than our defense. Defense is usually my strong point, but, I mean, we could have scored at will 50, 60-yard touchdowns all day long. And our quarterback's name is Ryan Roberts. Some may know of his dad. His dad is Ron Roberts. He was the Southeastern Louisiana football head coach for quite a few years in Hammond, Louisiana. And his older brother was the starting quarterback at Hammond High School, but he was a shorter, kind of like a running back, strong safety, muscular build. He was not really a quarterback build, but he was the starting quarterback because of who his dad was, I guess. He was a leader, a very good leader, and so they moved this kid money. Black kid, fast, strong arm, could not make a read for anything, couldn't make a good decision. And so ended up moving the kid to a running back or something, and his son, and he was highly ticked off about that. I don't know if it was the right decision or not because I didn't really see his son play. But, his younger son, Ryan, played center, snapping the ball. It was exactly what my son did. He was a center the year before in 7th grade for Hammond Junior High. And he was lanky, skinny, and tough kid, quiet. And he was the center for this kid from Ponchatoula High School. What was his name? He played for LSU as a true freshman, won some games, 1 or 2 games. Everybody said he sucked. Finley. It's like 6'7", something like that, 6'6", 6'7". So Finley left LSU and went to Auburn and beat the brakes off LSU. So he's no good, but he goes to Auburn and beats the brakes out of y'all, right? Which I love LSU, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the kid, right? But he ended up falling apart. I think there were some discipline issues, but Ryan was that kid's center, and they were phenomenal, but not undefeated, like we were. And they had this All-American talent kid that was like 6'6" in 8th grade, if I'm not mistaken. And so Ryan was not a great athlete. He was skinny, slow, very little muscle. And so but his dad, of course, he's a coach's son, and he knew football, and he knew how to throw the football. And so we had a kid named Chris, light-skinned black kid, probably the best athlete on the team, very fast, very athletic, could throw a perfect spiral, bombs, They were what throwing the ball. There's no reason why Chris couldn't have been, in my system now, they would have both been playing quarterback. But at that time, there's no reason why Chris couldn't have been the starting quarterback. But we wanted to get the ball in our athletes' hands and let them make the touchdowns, the big plays, right? So, Ryan was the better decision maker. He was cool under pressure. He could make the precision passes at the right times. It's all about decision making. So I made Ryan my starting quarterback, and I went to his dad. This is an awesome story. So I went to his dad, and we had no pads. We had a couple old helmets. We had a couple helmets that were the junk helmets at Hammond High School. When I went to Hammond High School with that jersey. So it was terrible. We had nothing. So I went to his dad at Southeastern, head coach at Southeastern, and I said, can you help us out? Can you give us some pads or something? Any kind of equipment. I'm asking for donations. These kids got nothing. I don't know how we're going to have a season. And he donated us probably $30,000-$40,000 worth of brand new Rydell equipment, top of the line. Only thing they couldn't give us was helmets, was because of some insurance or something. But I mean, he probably gave us $20,000-$30,000 worth of Rydell shoulder pads alone, like $400 or $500 a piece. And they gave us like thousands of dollars worth of best top of the line Nike cleats and all kind of stuff. It was awesome. It was really awesome. And I sat down and met, a couple times in his office and talked with him. And I said, your son's going to be a really great quarterback at the next level. He was like, who, Ryan? I was like, yeah. He was like, in high school? I was like, no, in college. And he was like, whatever. I mean, dude really rolled his eyes at me. Like, whatever. He's a great guy, mind you. But at this point in time, he's so busy coaching college. That's why I never wanted to coach college football, because I saw what it did to my coach that recruited me. And it takes all the fun out of it because there's zero time. They're on the road. You never get to be with your family. So this guy who was totally devoted to his sport, to his passion, did not even see the athlete that he had, the tremendous potential that his son had, because his older son was big and muscular, but he was short. He didn't have all those qualities, the long athlete, like a pitcher kind of. He didn't have all those qualities that Ryan, his younger son, had. And he had not been able to spend the real time to see the true potential that Ryan had. But Ryan was quiet, he was not that real outgoing personality. He was very somber, if not somber. He was meek. And so I was just like, dude rolled his eyes at me like, kind of, all right, whatever, dude, you don't know anything about football. So I was like, okay, you'll see. I didn't say you'll see. I just, in my head, I was like, okay, you'll see. So I'm telling Ryan, you have all the tools. You're going to be a great quarterback at the next level. In high school? No, in college. You're going to be a college quarterback. I promise you. You're going to go, if you don't go 3 or 4 years, you'll at least go, if we can keep you all together at Hammond, you might be a 4-year starting undefeated quarterback. State champ. You'll be all-state. And you'll get a college scholarship. And you'll play in college. You'll be good. And he, had a hard time believing me, but I instilled that in him, and he did amazing for us. Of course, most kids are not getting recruited in junior high, in 8th grade, but he went to Hammond High School. His dad left, I think he left Southeastern and went to ULL, University of Lafayette. And the mom and Ryan stayed in Hammond, so you go to school there. She taught. And so Ryan, I think I was working, managing pipeline jobs. And so I had just done this as a favor and then felt compelled to stay there for the boys because I didn't want to abandon the boys. So I went to back to working on the road and stuff, and I was really busy, so I didn't have much time to coach at all. But I knew after we were so good and I was so good, it was clearly, I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But I never wanted to be paid to do that as for a living. I always, even when I was offered in college to coach in college with Trooper Taylor, who signed Cam Newton at Auburn, I always said when I saw his life, because we became close, when I saw his life and how he never got to spend time with his family, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to have my own job, make good money, and just coach kids on the side. I don't really want to coach college because they're basically almost grown men by that time, and I want to be able to influence the boys and change their lives for the better. While they're still influenceable, right? So that was a decision that I made early on. And so the next year, his sophomore year, so it had been his 10th grade year, I went to a Hammond High game to see my players that were there, that were doing well. And Ryan's on the sideline. I was like, is that Ryan? Whoa. Like, he had gotten taller. He got several inches, 3 or 4 inches taller. Kid's probably my height by this. He's probably about 6'1", 6'2" by this time. And he's long, but his legs had gotten much bigger, like a college quarterback. He's skinny up top, nice big round muscular legs, big round butt, which associates athletes with, fast, speed, explosion, all of those athletes. he just had that perfect build. I was like, man, he looks like a college quarterback. And you know, I just remember looking at his leg. I was like, dang, look at his leg. Like that's an athlete right there. You know, he's really developing into, you know, what I saw him to be. And but he was on the sideline, and he's, you know, he's warming up. So this black kid, nothing. I grew up with black kids, best friends black, but this black kid, super athlete. He played college ball too. Money. Now Money's out there. They're running 5 wides, 4 and 5 wides, and they're throwing the ball. Like he's throwing it a mile every time. He rolls out. And he looks and looks. He pats the ball. You know, and we know who everybody in the house knows who's going to. You know, and he comes way back here like this, and by the time, and then it launches at 1,000,000 miles, and then it's like all the DBs go. It's like a punt, right? Everybody knew where he's going. He hardly completed a pass, but he could throw it a mile, right? And it's a beautiful spiral, like a rocket, like Drew Brees. But they were not successful. And I'm like, why is Ryan? Because I developed this kid, right? And I prepared him for high school. By the time he left me, because I was a quarterback for years and years, went to all the camps. I come from a long lineage of successful coaches and players. Paul was like a father figure to me. He was went to the state championship with Ponchatoula in 1951 as a quarterback. So he trained me, you know, and he taught me the game of football. And so, Ryan, I passed this kid on to the high school, but the coach Cecil had gotten fired. But I had told them, like, look, he's ready right now. If you have the receivers and you have the line, you can put him in a pro-style system and he will eat anybody up. He can make the passes. He can find the open man. You don't have to 1,000,000 miles an hour. You don't have to do that. But he's ready right now. He can be a state champion quarterback right now if you have the team around. So here we are, second year. I don't know who the coach was, but here we are, second year of high school, and he's sitting on a bench, and they got this kid can't hardly complete a pass because he's not really a quarterback. Great receivers too, tremendous athletes that just couldn't put it together. And so he's sitting on a bench. I was like, why is he sitting on a bench? This is a champion quarterback. I made this. I developed him. You know, I taught him everything. You know, and it frustrated me very much. And I talked to him. I think I reminded him of what I told him. 2 years later, 2.5 years later, something like that. I think it was like around 2 years later. I found out that Ryan Roberts, after that season, transferred. I believe it was probably right around the time I transferred to Hammond, around Christmas time, his sophomore year after football season. He transferred to Lafayette Christian, where his dad was at, and 2 years in a row, junior, senior year, undefeated state champion quarterback, all-state quarterback. 2 years, undefeated state champion. Exactly what I told him he was going to be, he became. In my first year of coaching football ever. If that is not a sign, omen, if you will, a good sign, I don't know what is. I have many stories like this, but it's a gift, obviously, and it's something that I also worked very hard for, building myself into the perfect athlete, perfect weapon, and just learning all of the knowledge to how to be an athlete, you know, especially football. I always loved football. I was obsessed with football when I was a kid. So He ended up signing. I don't remember where he signed with, but he ended up signing. And he was a college quarterback. He played in college. I don't know what all he did. I need to message him and talk to him. But he went to college. He was in college. Well, okay. I don't remember where he was, but I messaged him. And I said, Ryan, I heard you were playing in college. Yeah, I'm here, whatever. I said, do you remember what I told you? No, sir. Did I not tell you that you were going to be a great quarterback at the next level in college? Did I not tell you you were going to be 2 or 3 or 4 years undefeated state champion quarterback? You'd make all state, and then you'd get a college scholarship, and you'd be a good player in college at quarterback? Yes, sir, you sure did. I messaged his dad because I love being right? I'm wrong sometimes. I'm wrong a lot, actually. But I admit when I'm wrong, which, people say somebody says I'm a narcissist. I study psychology very well, in depth. Narcissists will never admit that they're wrong, ever. They could never even grasp that concept that there could be anything wrong with them, so I mess up all the time. I'm sorry, made a mistake, etc. So Ryan had what it took, and I saw it immediately after a couple weeks of practice. And that was my first year of coaching. I don't know many people that have coached an undefeated team, Paris champions, just steamrolled everybody like we did. I feel pretty confident with similar, even remotely close to that type of talent. I could do that every year. And most of the teams that I've coached have been undefeated, or we go to the championship and lose to a better team. Usually not better coached, but sometimes we get out coached, but usually that's not the case. It's usually because they have, like in baseball, they have an awesome pitcher or something. But most of my teams go undefeated, or we go to the championship and we lose in the championship. Taking a bunch of teams, baseball, basketball, football, take them, have little to no skills, poor skills, need a lot of development and fundamentals. I develop their fundamentals. I make them believe in themselves. I teach sports psychology, breathing, meditation, all different types of stuff. And this is all a collective to build a team, a championship team. And so I've had great success with that, but I've also had a lot of jealousy, a lot of clashing of egos, which you have a lot of that in football anyway. Sports, especially football, is a lot of alpha males or people who think they're alpha males. And true alphas, they won't clash usually. They'll usually mesh well because they're not intimidated by each other. So they can feed off of each other and learn from each other. And so I had a whole lot of success, but I've come to the point to where I don't really want to be a coach anymore. I am a coach. I'll always be a coach. But I got to the point to where I don't really want to be in like school, organized with schools and stuff like that, because there's so much politics. It's disgusting, frankly. And I'm not really sure exactly where I want to go with this, but I just want to talk about how. Let me see what time it is. All right. All right, I gotta cut this short. But I just want to talk about, us as moms and dads and coaches, we really need to look in the mirror and know ourselves a little bit better and appreciate what we have when we have a good coach, and let them do their job. If they do it well, if they're good at what they do they have a good success rate? Not are they winning right now, but what have they done in the past? It takes a little time sometimes to build a championship team. And so I have seen a lot of flack, if you will, from parents that, everybody thinks they know everything, but most of them ain't done nothing. People say they don't like stats. Well, usually people that don't like stats are people that ain't never made none. They don't like records because they ain't never set none, right? So, see that belt right there? Let's see if you can see. There's two of them right there. There's multiple belts. Those are world championship belts, world titles, professional. I'm a 4-time world champion, professional world champion, 2 times in jiu-jitsu world champion, 2 times in MMA, mixed martial arts. And that takes a lot of skill and a lot of work and time and blood, sweat, and tears and stuff, and dedication. There's way more to learn in one martial art than there is in probably most other sports combined. And then when you combine all of the martial arts, you have to learn each one and be an expert at each martial art. So the amount of knowledge and skills that is involved in that to be a complete mixed martial artist, meaning I can wrestle, I can box, I can kickbox, I can do jiu-jitsu and submission grappling and all this stuff. Each one of them is an art that takes years and years to become great at. So to say that I did that is pretty amazing. It amazes me. I did it through prayer, faith, and hard work. Belief in myself, belief in my God, and just hardcore, hard-head, hard work. And so I try to instill this in the young men that I influence, that I coach, that I teach, and I try to instill that in my sons. My sons are remarkably better athletes than I was at my age. I was a late bloomer, so is my son. The puberty hit late, so it took a while, but I molded myself into a world-class athlete eventually and had much success at it. And I'm pretty sure, please quote me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure I have the highest knockout percentage in heavyweight history and possibly even martial arts history, mixed martial arts history. So you can check that stat. Check it up, do the research. The official record was 12-2 with 9 first-round knockouts. At one time I was 9-0 with I think 8 first-round knockouts, something like that. Well, I had 9 first-round knockouts. In the first round, whoop, knocked out. It's pretty crazy. And there was, it was just like Mike Tyson. It was set up properly. It took a lot of management to do that. But, I'm seeing a lot of politics. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that ruins sports. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that it just really ruins the whole gift of sports and how awesome and passionate one can be about it. And It's really disgusting, and it makes, I mean, I go to Hammond Punch Tool game, there's hardly nobody there, and then I do see the kids there, and it's just like, this is what the world's coming to. When Hammond Punch Tool played, when I was in 8th grade, it was like 10,000 people there. You couldn't even stand up outside the fence. They couldn't, trying to look to see, like it was Donald Trump or something, you know? That's how big of a deal it was. Now they ain't even close to half of the stands on either side filled up. Nobody cares. It's just not. Kids are like this. Don't care, live in this false reality. So I'm gonna speak more on this, but I just want to say, because I got to go get my son right now from practice, because we're going to with a major league pitcher, work on his catching and stuff, work on his weaknesses. But I just want to say, you know, be appreciative of the men and women that take their time to work with your sons and daughters, because there ain't many of us out there, not ones that have a pure heart for service, teaching, being a mentor, and being a champion, and teaching the art of being a champion, because there are not many champions out there. We are very few. So when you have someone like this that will help teach your son or your daughter how to be a champion, this is a priceless gift that they are giving to your young one. And I wish I had that. I did have one. He died on the field, heart attack, massive heart attack. Coach Steptoe. He was like a daddy to me. Most of my coaches were like daddies to me. And so for a boy who grows up without a dad around, you know, we're like father figures to these boys. And sometimes you just gotta step back and like let them do their thing. And because you cannot see what they see, they've seen it, they've done it, they know what it takes, the hard work that it takes to become a champion, to build a champion. And so sometimes we need to just sit back and let coach, if he's that caliber of coach, let him be coach. Let's not involve ourselves. Let's not go pay somebody so our son can start over this kid, or pull some strings or something like that, you know, because we're teaching our kids all the wrong things. Give them what they earn. Let them earn it. If they don't earn it, they shouldn't get it. Participation trophies, come on, man. Like, really. I see stuff like manipulation of stats. Just weird, sick stuff, you know? So I just want to say thank you to the coaches at Havoc. We had some really great coaches, and my son's playing for this team. They're going to be a majors team, I know it. My son has done astronomically well in his first year of travel. He played like not even a half a season of travel ball when he was 10. And I coached that team, and we did very, very, very well. He did very, very, very well. But then I lost my boys for about 2 years or more, and he lost development for about 2 years or more. And then, so we've just got back to training now, and it's taken a little while, maybe 6 months or something like that, but he's doing awesome. And he's hitting the ball like a man, but he's nervous in the box because I put so much pressure on him. He's put so much pressure on himself, but he's gonna start hitting bombs any day. He's hitting them all day long, 70 miles an hour. But first year catching, doing great at catcher. First real year pitching, he pitching rec ball this past year, 9-0. uh, don't have all the physical gifts, but we're building them. But he's just been so successful, and I'm just so proud of him, you know. And I just see I know he's going to college to play football and basketball, baseball. I know he's a point guard in basketball. It's just crazy. You know, people judge him because of his body type, which our coach and I both dealt with those biases. But at the end of the day, the stats don't lie. The strikeouts don't lie. The hits don't lie. The ERAs don't lie. The kid's got like almost every game he's pitched in has been 0.0 ERA. Nobody scores on him. They get on the board because kids make errors and stuff like that, but the kid's nearly perfect. I don't know how he does it, frankly. But we need to really just take a step back and say thank you to the people who are working with our sons and giving them this gift. Because without them, there is no gift. Without the coaches, without the influence, you don't just put a great team together and they're just great. It don't work like that. It has to be a meshing together and a bunch of great players becoming great together and meshing. And it takes a great coach to do that. And so we need to say thank you, to try to be as quiet and as the least amount of critical that we can, not be critical of the coaches of our sons and daughters, and just sit back and watch. Somebody told me recently that we need to make a questionnaire, like a comment box, basically. Like, do we have concerns, questions, things like this, and then allow the parents to do the things. And my thing is, we should put questions on there. What level did you play? Did you compete at a sport? At what level did you compete or coach at? And to what level of success did you have in college or professional sports? And what was your success rate, and what are your accolades, records, etc., statistics? And what gives you the courage to have an opinion about what we do as coaches? There's my boy. I gotta go. God bless y'all. I'll be back. Fighting back with the champ. Boom. Shark Tank athletes.